Welcome back to another episode of the Flagrant Foul Fridays. I'm your host, Nick, as usual, and I got Christian with me today.
Hello and welcome back.
Today we will be doing a Super Bowl special for our special segment. Christian, want to go ahead and explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so we're doing a prediction game. So I came up with a ton of questions for us, and some questions are worth 1 point, some questions are worth three, some are worth five. Um, and then, so it's 40 points total, although I think some of the questions might not apply. For example, some questions are based on if people play, and if for some reason they aren't playing or they get injured, then obviously that question doesn't apply. So it's approximately 40 points, and we're both going to record our predictions this week, and then next week after the game, we're going to tally up our score and then see who wins. Hopefully it's not a tie, or that would be very underwhelming. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So we're going to start with our 1 point questions. These are supposed to be a little bit easier. A lot of them are like 50-50. You get it right or you get it wrong. All right, so the first question, who will win the coin toss?
Well, it is a 50-50 flip of a coin.
I know that the team that
Uh,
wins the coin toss tends to win the game slightly more.
I think
And who's the away team? Because I think they get to call it, right?
the away team is the Seahawks because they switch every year.
I'm gonna say if the Seahawks call tails, tails never fails, and we will get it.
I was going to say the Seahawks too.
So I'm gonna say the Seahawks win, but if they call heads, then that's why. If they lose.
Will JSN have over or under 100 yards?
One thing to note about this is if you scroll down a bit, I put how much yards each defense has been giving up, and I believe the Patriots during the playoffs have been averaging 138 passing yards allowed. So I don't know if that's going to influence your thinking, but
I think I'm going to go with yes.
I'm also going to go with yes. In the past, I traditionally would have said I don't think Jason's going to get a ton of yards, not because he's bad, but because a lot of times in the playoffs they get double teamed and stuff. But I really do feel like the Seahawks want to win this game, and so they're going to stick with what works, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. They're going to start throwing to him again more because it's the biggest game of the year.
Right. I could easily see him having a quiet game, though, but
Hmm.
who knows? All right, next. Will Sam Darnold throw his first interception of the playoffs?
I'm going to say yes to this one.
Hopefully not at the 1 yard line. I'm going to say no.
I'm primarily saying yes because if we're throwing more to JSN, Christian Gonzalez, I bet will have an interception against him.
But if, I don't know, if we get off to a hot start, I could see us running the ball a ton.
That's true. I just think he'll have a mistake because he's gone a long time without a mistake.
It's possible. And in terms of interceptions, the Patriots are pretty similar to the Seahawks. I think they have like two interceptions this postseason, and I think we have three. So it's like it doesn't seem impossible that he won't throw an interception, but if we're going off regular season, he does have the most interceptions of anyone. So I get why you would say that. But hey, this is the first split we have, so someone's going to get points here, different than the other.
Will Kenneth Walker have over or under 75 yards?
I believe he's averaging like 65 to 70 yards in the postseason. Maybe that was regular season. But I do think with him not having a backup, I mean, there is a backup, but Charbonnet got hurt. I
I think
think
with
he'll get a
him,
lot of yards.
yeah, I think with him being the primary back, I think he can get over
So
75
I'm going
yards.
yes. Even though
Over.
Patriots in this postseason have only allowed 71 yards on average. But again, I don't know if averages speak to necessarily what's going to happen. So we both say over. Okay. Who will score more touchdowns if it happens, of course? Kenneth Walker or Trevion Henderson?
I think it's going to be a tie, if that's applicable.
Sure. I mean, I think you lower your odds of it being 50-50 if you choose if you pick a tie.
Well, if I pick one and they tie, does that mean neither of us get the point?
Actually, no, you're right. You have better odds, I think, because if neither of them score a touchdown, that's still a tie.
I have a feeling Trevion Henderson's going to have at least one touchdown, but I don't know
I'm
if
gonna
Kenneth
go
Walker will.
I'm gonna go with Kenneth because although Trevion is maybe better in like the red zone, so he could get more touchdowns in that sense, I think him coming off concussion makes them maybe less likely to play him as much. And Kenneth is coming off of what, 3 touchdowns in a game?
Yeah.
So, oh wait, no, that wasn't against the Rams. That was
No, that was
against the
against the
49ers.
49ers.
But either way, I just think Kenneth Walker will have one more, whatever that looks like, 2-1, I don't know. All right, who will have more yards, Kenneth Walker or Trevion Henderson? Our run defense is way better, or maybe not way better, but it's good. So I'm also gonna go with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I'm going with Kenneth Walker because our run defense is good, and Kenneth Walker is known to go off
Yeah.
since he's the only running back.
Who will score more touchdowns, JSN or Stephon Diggs? This one's tough because I could see both of them scoring one.
I'm going to go JSN. I don't. I think JSN either gets two and Stephon gets one, or JSN gets one and Stephon doesn't get any.
Yeah, I'm gonna go tie here actually. I don't think JSN's gonna score a touchdown. I think he's gonna give us the yards we need, but then we're gonna punch it in with other people. I mean, we saw last week Jake Bobo, is that his name?
Yeah,
He got a touchdown. So I think we're willing to throw it to other people. Um, I could see Stephon getting a touchdown, but I really have a feeling that the Seahawks might limit how many touchdowns they have. So I'm just gonna say a tie. They both get 0. But hey, if they both get 1, they both get 2, then I win either way. Who will have more yards, JSN or Stephon Diggs? I'm
I
gonna go
think JSN
JSN.
again. I feel bad for picking the Seahawks every time,
No, I get it though.
except for the Travion Henderson and touchdowns.
Next question. Which team will have more sacks, if applicable, obviously? I know that I think on paper the Seahawks are slightly better on sacks, but it's like within one, I think. But what I've seen the last couple games is the Seahawks has forced the QBs to run, and then they don't tend to get the sacks a lot. And I don't know a lot about the Patriots defense, but something's telling me that the Patriots are going to have more sacks.
I'm going with the Seahawks because the Seahawks have only allowed 2 sacks to Sam Darnold this whole postseason,
Oh, really?
and the Patriots have allowed 5
See, it's
sacks.
funny that you say that because I was remembering him getting sacked a lot. Maybe it was just those two that I was remembering.
But the
You know what?
Seahawks offensive line is really good, and like you said,
Yeah,
that
you're
defensive
right.
line.
I'm gonna switch to the Seahawks, but I don't think it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be like one more sack.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a lot, but I think that defensive line is going to cause a lot of pressure on Drake May because I know
Yeah,
he's got like 5 sacks this postseason.
it's gonna be like 1 sack to 0 or like 2-1. So yeah, I'm switching to the Seahawks.
Which team will be penalized first?
So I did look up which teams have more penalties, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's pretty similar. I think the Patriots might get slightly more.
I'm going to go the first penalty being on the Seahawks.
I'm gonna go
I
Patriots.
have a feeling it's going to be on Tariq Woolen too.
I knew you were gonna say that. I don't think so. I think he'll have learned from last week.
Actually, I'm going to change that. I could see the Patriots getting a holding call because of that defensive line.
Will there be a punt slash kick return touchdown for either team? I'm gonna say no.
I want to say no.
As much as I would love to see Rashid Shaheed do it, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna prep for that.
Hopefully, we're both wrong. That'd be cool to see him break the record, even though
Yeah,
he's
this would
only.
be it's only played since what, November? Yeah. I would love to see that. This is the one I'm okay with getting wrong, because we're both wrong. Next question. Will a non-quarterback throw a pass? There's a lot of rumors that Cooper Kupp is gonna throw a pass because of a picture he posted.
Yeah.
But I think he's thrown like 4 passes his whole NFL career, and every single one has either been incomplete or an interception. I think. So I don't know if that's happening. I'm gonna say No. I think we're gonna see a trick play, but I don't think it's gonna be a non-quarterback throw.
Yeah, I don't see any trick plays that lead to non-quarterback throws just because that one Cooper Cup one got leaked. I think there probably would have been if that wasn't leaked, but
I
now
think
they're kind of expecting it.
I think we could see a QB like keep or something, or maybe some sort of like uh option play with like three people or something. But yeah,
Will there be a missed field goal or extra point? I'm going to say yes.
this one's tough for me because if the game's close, I could see the ending play being like a 60-yard desperation kick, you know. But I don't know anything about the Patriots kicker. Is he good?
Against the Broncos, he missed like three
Well,
extra
that was
or three
really
field
bad
goals.
weather though, wasn't it?
I don't know. I didn't watch the whole game. I know he missed some. I know some were during the bad weather, but I don't know if all of them were.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that was mostly bad weather. I'm gonna go with see, this one's tough because field goals are really hard to predict. Like, is it gonna be a 60-yarder? Is there only gonna be extra points? I'm just gonna say no, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a missed like desperation field goal.
He has an 84% field goal percentage.
It's not bad.
So I'll say no to be on the safe side, even though I have a feeling the Patriots kicker has a chance.
Hey, if you got a feeling, do it. There's plenty of points. All right, who will score first? This includes field goals or safeties.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I think they're gonna drive down the field on the first drive.
I think so as well. If we lose the coin toss, I could see the Patriots doing a field goal, but it seems like a safer bet that the Seahawks will score first. On a similar note, next question, who will win? I mean, we have to go Seahawks here, right?
It's a non-biased pick. A unanimous Seahawks for that question.
All right. Next, now we're gonna move on to our 3-point questions. These are a little bit harder to predict. So first of all, who will score a receiving touchdown for the Seahawks? Um, so you just have to give one name.
For the Seahawks, let's go receiving touchdown.
Who's our tight end?
I don't know if he's playing. Let me see real quick. Says he was activated from injured reserve, Elijah Arroyo,
You know what?
but I don't.
I'm just gonna say Cooper Cup. Keep it simple.
That's who I was thinking because I didn't
Because
want to say JSN.
I said earlier Jason might score 0 touchdowns.
If
So
I'm gonna go AJ Barner.
is that who's that?
That's one of our tight ends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a tight end touchdown. I just don't know the tight ends well enough to choose that over Cooper Cup.
I think if Elijah Arroyo plays, it's definitely going to be one of them two that gets a touchdown.
But who knows? Maybe we'll have a screen to Kenneth Walker. And then similar note, next question, who will score a running touchdown for the Seahawks? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Kenneth Walker.
I would say none, but I have a feeling Kenneth Walker is going to score a
I could also
touchdown
see it
within
being
the.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but he doesn't really run.
Next question. Each of us is going to predict Sam Darnold's completion percentage at the end of the game. Whoever's closest wins. And I gave some references here. Sam Darnold averages 67.7% in the regular season and 69.8 in the postseason. Drake May averages 72% in the regular season, which is best in the NFL, and 55.8 in the postseason. So he actually dropped off significantly, but there was a weather game.
All right, in the middle and say 68%.
Yeah, you would do that, wouldn't you? I'm gonna say, how many passes does a quarterback usually throw in a game? Like 30?
Close to it.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say 68.1%.
Wow.
You did this to yourself.
I'll go 68.5.
Are you kidding? I don't think he's hitting the 69 mark. I'll stick with 68.1. All right, next question.
Imagine
Now we're
68.3.
That would be insane. We have to predict Drake May's completion percentage. I think he's gonna struggle again, but I think he's gonna have maybe some check downs. So I'm gonna give him 61.8%.
I'll go 58.3%.
Okay, sure. Imagine it's in the middle of whatever that is between us. All right, next question. The longest field goal made will be how many yards? Closest wins. I don't even know what their like career highs are.
I'm gonna just throw a random number out there and say 37 yards.
I'm gonna say 48. Wait, actually, since we have to be closer, I'll go 46.
2 yards.
Well, hey, if it's like 44 now, I think I'm closer to you because of that. So, all right. Actually, if I was smart, I would go 38, but I won't be that guy. All right, now we're going to move on to the last two questions. Each of these is worth 5 points. First of all, final score prediction. Closest difference in score wins. So we take the score, basically each team's score, subtract them, and then compare that to our difference that we predicted. I jokingly said 42-6 last week, and something tells me that could happen, but I'm not gonna do that.
Final score, including who wins, I assume.
Well, we already said Seahawks, so that's already assumed,
Yeah.
right?
I'm gonna go 24-17 or 27-17. I'll go 27-17.
I'm going 16-30. Um, but I'll put a note here that I jokingly said 42-6, just in case.
So that's a total of 44 points.
Oh, is that how we're doing it?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that the best way to do it? I don't know.
I mean, it
Well,
could
I'm
be
trying to.
another
It
way.
doesn't really matter, I don't think, because, for example, let's say my score was off by 2 points, then we just take the total minus that, and you're still gonna have the same difference.
Right.
So sure, I guess that's how we're doing. I really want to give the Seahawks another touchdown, so like 37 or so, 40 maybe. But I just feel like in the Super Bowl, it's pretty rare that there's just like a ton of scoring. It does happen sometimes, but yeah. All right, and then the last question, also for 5 points. Who will be the Super Bowl MVP? I really want to put like JSN, Cooper Cup, or Kenneth Walker, but I really think Sam Darnold is going to cement his legacy in this bowl game. Bowl game? Super Bowl game. So I'm going to say Sam Darnold.
I'm gonna say Sam.
But hey, maybe there will be like a game-winning interception from someone that already had an interception, and that would be a defensive MVP. That would be kind of cool.
I'm gonna say if the Seahawks win, it's Sam Darnold, and if the Patriots win, it's gonna be Travion
Oh,
Henderson.
we're doing both?
Oh, if you want to,
Okay, sure. I'll do Drake
because
May.
it obviously can't be Sam Darnold if the Patriots win.
I know, but I feel like that's part of the risk. Like, you might lose out on 5 points because you got the team wrong. But no,
Well,
that's
we
fine.
both be losing out of 5 points.
I'm perfectly fine with that because if the Patriots win, I'm pretty confident Drake May is going to win the MVP.
You know what? I'll go completely different. I'll go JSN and Travion Henderson.
Okay, sure. And watch, it's going to be Cooper Cup. Would he be the first receiver to ever have two Super Bowl MVPs?
Probably because I don't think many receivers have won Super Bowl MVP.
That'd be crazy. All right, well, there we have it. We'll see who wins next week. I feel like it's going to be pretty close. Most of our answers were pretty similar.
We just think alike.
We're also both Seahawks fans, so that doesn't help.
Right, we'll get a Patriots fan perspective in about 2 years.
All right, now we're going to move on to the college football section. Not a lot to cover. Who would have thought with the season being over? But despite there not being a lot to cover, there is some pretty big news. with regards to scheduling. So let's get right into it. So for the first time since 1944, Oregon will not play Oregon State in 2026. I think part of this is Oregon's now in the Big Ten, but this is still kind of crazy to me that after all those years of that rivalry game, even though Oregon tends to be way better, it's gone.
It's kind of like the USC and Notre Dame rivalry that almost ended.
I'm sure they'll play again, but yeah, it's kind of sad.
I'm sure it's probably just scheduling conflicts with being in different conferences now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
We have a couple things to cover in coaching news that came out this week. So, Florida State offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn is retiring this season. Uh, there's no news on who they plan to replace him with, but he's a longtime college coach and even coached high school football. So, congratulations on his retirement. Um, I really don't know him, but I still wanted to recognize this because it's a great achievement to be a college coordinator and obviously
And have
make
a
it
long
long enough to
career.
retire.
Yeah. And then next we got Michigan State hiring John McNulty as their quarterback coach. He's a veteran NFL and college coach with coordinator experience. So that's good to see. It's always good to see Michigan State um, possibly making changes. They're a team that has a lot of ups and downs.
Former Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell is joining the Iowa staff as an offensive analyst. He graduated from Iowa and won 35 games over 4 years and four bowl games. He was also an All Big Ten defensive back. I believe this was in the late 80s when all this happened.
Yeah, I'm not fully sure what that job position entails, especially if he's a defensive back. But that's pretty cool. It's good to see things go full circle like that. Moving on, the dates for the college football playoffs over the next 2 years have been announced. So the 2026-27 season, the quarterfinals will be December 30th, which is the Fiesta Bowl, and then January 1st, which is the Cotton Bowl, Peach Bowl, and Rose Bowl. And then the semifinals will be January 14th, the Orange Bowl, and January 15th, the All-State Sugar Bowl. And then the national championship game will be January 25th. There will be no game on New Year's Eve this year to avoid playing at the same time as Thursday night football with the NFL. So, good news if you're an Ohio State fan. No more New Year's Eve curse. And then 2027-28 season, the quarterfinals will be December 31st, the Sugar Bowl, January 1st, the Fiesta Peach Bowl and Rose Bowl, and then the semifinals will be January 13th, the Orange Bowl, and January 14th, the Cotton Bowl. The national championship game will be January 24th. So one thing I'd like to point out is with these changes, the midpoint of the college football season is now week 11 of the regular season. Thoughts on this?
That's the second to the last game of the regular season, so that's definitely probably not ideal for college athletes.
Yeah, I mean, this immediately makes me wonder about injuries. Um, and then that aside, I mean, we're almost in February now. That's insane. Which I feel like only reinforces some of the problems that we're having with the transfer portal. We need the transfer portal to be separate from when the games are so coaches can just focus on coaching, you know?
Yeah, I think they might be pushing it back to maybe stay relevant a little longer, or maybe
Well,
even.
they're going to expand probably in the future too. So,
I wonder, with you saying that, if there's a potential that they are working towards expansion, and that's why they put in those extra bye weeks.
yeah, and I mean, at this rate, we're going to have the national championship like the week before the Super Bowl.
That could also be a reason because they want to have the two games closer to each other.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for college football. And now we're
Thanks
gonna
for
move on.
listening. We'll see you next week.
No, now we're gonna we got a lot of fun stuff to cover, Nick. Come on now. And next, we're gonna move on to the NFL segment.
We got a bunch of coaching news for you for the NFL. Starting off, the Eagles made some coaching changes. They hired Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion to be their next offensive coordinator. They also hired the Buccaneers offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard as their pass game coordinator.
The Falcons are hiring Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham as their new GM.
The Vikings fired their general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. The executive Rob Brzezinski is running the team until after the draft. Then the organization will look for a new GM.
You get the fun names this week.
Yeah.
And the Ravens are hiring Bears offensive coordinator Declan Doyle as their offensive coordinator.
Ravens are also hiring Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver as their defensive coordinator.
And the Bills are hiring Broncos defensive passing game coordinator and assistant head coach Jim Leonard as their new defensive coordinator.
The Cardinals are hiring Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur as their head coach. Something I do want to point out about this is Sean McVay has a bunch of old coordinators that are now head coaches. So kind of like Nick
Pipeline.
Saban
Yeah,
of college football, but of the NFL.
it's good to see. And the 49ers are hiring Falcons head coach Raheem Morris as their defensive coordinator.
The Rams are extending head coach Sean McVay and GM Les Snead.
The Broncos are promoting pass game coordinator Davis Webb as the offensive coordinator.
The Giants are hiring Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator.
The Bucks are hiring Indiana's quarterback coach Chandler Whitmer as their quarterback coach.
The Jets are hiring former Panthers and Colts head coach Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator. Frank Reich was also Stanford's interim head coach last season.
All right, now we're going to move on to some news around the NFL this week. So, one thing we wanted to point out was some of the Super Bowl ticket prices this year. The lowest price is around $4,552, but it was originally priced at $5,982. The median is 7,497, originally priced at 9,827. And this is projected to be just under the highest Super Bowl ticket prices ever, which was in 2024. That was the record. Do you know, is the original price before the teams were announced?
I believe so.
So because maybe the Rams didn't make it, they go down?
That is probably a good um, analysis because the Rams are from LA and the Super Bowl's in California. So you would think more people from LA would buy tickets. And so
Well,
that's a
and the
good
cost of living's
possibility.
high, so
Yeah.
they might be more willing to pay. Not that Seattle's cheap.
Yeah, I saw about 60% is what they're projecting is to be Seattle fans.
That makes sense.
Got Lumen South down in uh down where yep, Santa Clara. I almost forgot where it was. Next we have some stats on between the Super Bowl and the two teams in the Super Bowl. So Sam Darnold has an 0-4 record against the Patriots. His stats versus the Patriots are one touchdown for 11 turnovers.
Yeah, I saw other stats saying things like the team that wears white wins way more often than the other team. So there's a lot of like stats that say on paper the Seahawks should lose this game, but the betting odds have the Seahawks by a decent amount.
Yeah, I saw the Patriots are like 4-0 or 5-0 when wearing white in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I don't think that stat applies to only the Patriots. I think it's teams in general. They
Well,
have like
that's
a
their
98
record in the
win.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Um, Also, Sam Darnold, uh, Jim Kelly, and Eli Manning are the only quarterbacks to lead the NFL in turnovers and still go to the Super Bowl. Honestly, when you have I don't know a ton about Jim Kelly, but when you have like Eli Manning in a comparison to Sam Darnold, it kind of helps alleviate some of my worries about him being a turnover type cornerback going into this game. What about you?
I mean, Jim Kelly, what, he made it to 4 Super Bowls and lost all four? So,
You just had to ruin that for me.
what?
I was looking hopeful with that company. I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah.
that about Jim
Well,
Kelly.
Eli Manning beat Tom Brady twice.
True.
So, and that was the Patriots. So the Patriots got beat by the most turnovers in the NFL.
Hey, if it happened once, it can happen again. I wonder if Jim Kelly lost to the Patriots though. That would be bad.
No, he was on the Bills, so the
That's
Patriots
true.
would have lost to him if they were in the playoffs.
That makes sense. Speaking of quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks with last names less than 5 letters long have never won a Super Bowl. So there you go, Patriots fans. What are you gonna do now? That is such a random stat. Where did you even find that?
There's one that gets even better later.
I'm not even gonna fact check that. It sounds like it would be right.
Starting QBs in the Super Bowl with their first and last name ending in the same letter are 0-6 in the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
The next one's better.
So Drake May's like doubly screwed.
It gets better though, because Super Bowl starting quarterbacks with the initials Big D and M are now 2-0 or 0-2, being Donovan McNabb and Dan Marino.
Okay.
You
A Seahawks fan looked up all these random stats.
can believe them if you want. I believe they're true. Don't quote me if I'm wrong.
I believe they're true. That's all that matters around these parts. It doesn't matter if it's factual, as long as we believe it's true. We're gonna report it to you.
Yeah, we believe it's true, so you should believe it.
We're the most trustworthy news you can ever get.
Right. Don't believe anybody else.
In other news, JSN recorded the most receiving yards in a single season, including playoffs, by a player aged 23 or younger. He's currently at 1,965 receiving yards this season. Obviously, this season's a little longer than some past seasons, but either way, that's still really impressive and speaks to how good of a year he's had.
Joe Flacco has been added to the Pro Bowl roster, and something I found surprising was it's his first Pro Bowl selection of his career.
Yeah, it's like a pity selection, but
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was on a team still.
Yeah, I didn't know that he's never made a Pro Bowl. That's pretty insane, considering he was on a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, that is surprising. That is very surprising to me. I have always thought of him as a pretty good quarterback. So, this is the second year in a row that both Super Bowl teams played the entire NFC South. So, if this is going to happen 3 years in a row, here's some Super Bowl predictions according to the stats. The teams that are going to play the entire NFC South next season are the entire NFC North, so the Bears, Lions, Packers, and Vikings, and the entire AFC North, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. Looking at this list, none of these teams seem like teams that you would think would be in the Super Bowl. Like, not at least immediately. So if this does happen 3 years in a row, that means next year's Super Bowl could be a pretty fun one.
The Patriots will make history this weekend, whether they live. Wait, what? That's insane.
I hope they don't die. Jeez, I know our defense is good, but Cam Chancellor retired.
The Patriots will make history this weekend, whether they win or lose. If they win, they will have the most Super Bowl wins of any franchise. They're currently tied with the Steelers at 6. If they lose, they will have the most Super Bowl losses of any franchise, and they're currently tied with the Broncos at 5.
That means, though, that they hold the record for most Super Bowl appearances,
Yeah,
which is good.
so that's good. Win or lose or die.
So I did some research, and the Super Bowl defenses are actually pretty similar, but there's one key difference that I think might play a factor in who wins this game: red zone defense. So if we look at passing defense during the regular season, Uh, the Seahawks allowed 193.9 yards average a game, while the Patriots had 193.5. So that's a difference of point 0.4 in the regular season. However, in the playoffs, the Patriots has only allowed 138.3, while the Seahawks have allowed 246.5. Mind you, the Seahawks had a shootout with the Rams, and the Patriots have been playing teams like CJ Stroud, who threw what, 3 interceptions?
4, I think.
4? So I don't know if that playoff difference is a huge sort of thing to worry about. But I would say either way, you should expect both defenses in terms of passing defense to be pretty similar, I would say. On a similar note, the rushing defense for the Seahawks was 91.9 yards average allowed during the regular season, while the Patriots was 101.7. The Seahawks allowed 111 in the playoffs on average, and the Patriots allowed 71.3 on average. So far, the Patriots' run defense has been pretty good actually in the playoffs. But like I said, if we look at regular season, they're both pretty similar. Now, here's where it gets crazy. The Seahawks were ranked 5th in red zone defense. They allow 50% of red zone, I don't know what, red zone attempts, I guess, to be a touchdown. Um, However, in the playoffs so far, they've allowed 72.7%. So the Seahawks are actually allowing way more touchdowns in the playoffs in the red zone this time around. I think part of that is playing the Rams probably. And then the Patriots have dropped significantly from 67.5% in the regular season to 33.3% in the playoffs. So their red zone defense has been incredible in the playoffs. They were ranked 30th during the regular season to the Seahawks 5th. So that's something to watch out for. If we're going off of the regular season, though, I would expect the Seahawks to be slightly better. But who knows? Definitely something to maybe watch out for during the game. In other news, the NFL notified teams that the salary cap range for the 2026 season will be between 301.2 million and 305.7 million. Last year it was 279.2 million. 5 years ago it was 182.5 million. The cap number should be finalized in late February. I wouldn't call this a concerning thing. Obviously, inflation is a thing. Um, but I think as the NFL gets richer and richer, we might see these numbers go up more and more. I don't know if this is going to impact certain teams more than others, though.
I mean, it kind of helps the Seahawks. It gives them a little more cap space, even though they already had a bunch of cap space. So that'll help pay their current players, and then they'll have extra money to get some bigger names.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to probably re-sign JSN and hopefully Kenneth Walker. That's going to be a good chunk of change.
Well, JSN is on his rookie contract for one more season.
Is he? I thought we had to re-sign him next year.
No, we got to resign Tariq Woolen and Kenneth Walker.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to sign him soon, though.
Yep, the following season. So you may have seen this because it was everywhere. So there were claims that the Seahawks were going to sell the team, and then later the team came out with a statement that said the team is not up for sale, and they will be focusing on the Super Bowl. It was I saw apparently it was an anonymous source that said the team was up for sale. Nobody really knows who it was. So if the Seahawks are put up for sale after the Super Bowl, it'll be the first time in the Super Bowl era that an entire team that played in the championship game gets put on the market shortly afterward. The last time something similar happened to this was in February of 1991 when Robert Tisch purchased 50% of the New York Giants, who won the championship
Yeah, I saw this as well. It kind of surprised me. I know that the longtime owner died recently, right?
in 2018.
Oh, okay, not as recent as I thought. But yeah, I was kind of shocked by that. And I was like, why would they announce it before the Super Bowl? That makes no sense. It probably was just fake news. Um, but who knows? That's something to keep an eye out on. Maybe it was something that leaked and it wasn't supposed to, and they're trying to cover their tracks. The NFL will consider replay for missed player safety penalties. Non-calls are currently non-reviewable, but penalties such as grabbing the face mask, unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, and hip drop tackles could be subject to review. It will be an off-season topic for the NFL competition committee. Honestly, I think this is a good change. It might slow down the game a bit, but I've seen a lot of evidence of like missed face mask calls that could potentially change the outcome of games.
I know there was one in particular. It wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game, but where JSN got poked in the eye versus I want to say the Rams during the regular season, but I don't remember exactly who it was. But he got poked in the eye on a face mask call, and they missed the call.
Yeah. So I think that's a good change if they do it.
We got some news across the league about some NFL international games. So first off, the Saints have been named the home team of the first ever NFL game in Paris, France. They will be playing the Browns. So that's a nice way to welcome Paris into the NFL with the Saints and Browns.
Yeah, if I was a French NFL fan, I would be very mad right now. Unless I was a Saints or Browns fan for some reason.
I mean, the Browns are a historic franchise, so there's a good possibility.
Well, and the Saints, I guess, could somehow be connected to the cathedrals and stuff. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. I suppose it's possible. I mean, who knows? Sometimes people pick teams based off of weird stuff like that, especially overseas. The NFL is also extending a multi-year deal with Madrid to have more regular season games hosted there.
And the NFL will return to Mexico City to play regular season games for the next 3 years at Estadio Benort. If I butchered that, I feel bad.
I almost wonder if this is a test to expand to Mexico City. I've heard that that's one of the hot places for a long time.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Um, I don't think I was gonna say we will keep you guys updated as it comes out on what teams are playing in those cities. Since the only team that we've heard of is the Saints and the Browns in France.
Yeah, the others haven't been announced as far as I know. Well, in other news, ESPN's purchase of NFL Network and other league digital assets have been finalized after government regulators approved the transaction. So ESPN acquired NFL Network, NFL Fantasy, and the rights to distribute the Red Zone channel to cable and satellite operators, and the league will get a 10% equity stake in ESPN. The NFL will still have their rights to keep NFL Red Zone digital. The league also still owns the rights to air the international games, and NFL Network has the rights to 7 games this season. NFL Fantasy Football will merge with ESPN Fantasy Football, giving ESPN the official fantasy football game of the league. And the league will continue to own and operate NFL Films, NFL Plus, NFL.com, uh, the official websites of the 32 teams, the NFL Podcast Network, and the NFL Fast channel, which is a free ad-supported streaming channel. So what's the implications of all this, Nick? Is it going to make watching NFL harder or easier? Because it's already pretty hard.
I would think with it going to cable, it would make it a little bit easier for those that don't pay for streaming services, but which would be nice in my opinion. But I've heard that ESPN does a lot of ads compared to what the NFL currently does. Because I know the NFL has like well, at least on YouTube TV, they have like in the Zen, and you just stare at a weird stuff with nice music in the background. I don't know, but I haven't watched NFL Network in a while, but I have heard ESPN does more ads than the NFL Network does.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an NFL Network thing as much as it is a YouTube TV thing, though. But that is a good point. I do hope it becomes easier with this.
It would be nice for the older audience if that's the case.
It'd be nice for me too.
Yeah. Anyways, uh, many of you probably have seen this, but Robert Kraft will not be inducted into the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Last week we talked about Bill Belichick not being inducted. Um, and I kind of did some research. I didn't know about the Spygate because I was only a couple years old when that happened. But do you think that the Spygate and the Deflategate had some reasoning for not getting into the Hall of Fame?
Well, it does seem like it. It really seems like the voters this year are pretty biased in terms of something. Now, whether that something is, you know, the Spygate and Deflategate stuff, I don't know. That's probably the most likely outcome. But it does seem like there's something off about the voters this year. Now, I'll admit, I don't know a ton about Robert Kraft in terms of why he would be deserving of being in the Hall of Fame, but I have heard a lot of bad things about him. So that immediately makes me wonder about the voters.
Now, I do have a question for you. Do you think Tom Brady gets in his first year of eligibility?
Surely he does, right? But when would that be? Would they have new voters by then?
Uh, I think next year he's eligible.
Well, assuming they don't change the voters, I would say it's like 75% chance that he will get in.
Tom Brady's
If
eligible in 2028.
Okay, so they're probably going to change the voters by then. I would say 99% he gets in the first year.
I think he also has a good case because he did win with the Buccaneers after he left. So he kind of had another Super Bowl besides with the Patriots.
But yeah, there's no reason he shouldn't get in the first year. It just, just hinges on the voters.
So the NFL Player Association said there's no interest among players to add an 18th game to the regular season. And Christian, I believe you've mentioned this before a couple times about them expanding the season and making every team have an international game. Or maybe I've mentioned it, I don't remember. But so the players are not interested in doing that. I can see why, because it's more strain on their bodies than they're already going through. And honestly, some of them might not be willing to travel every year across to Europe or down to Mexico City.
Right. Um, yeah, I think there's more cons than there are pros. The pros are you get to watch NFL more, NFL makes more money, whatever. But I just think you're going to increase injury risk. There's the question about historic stats and stuff like that, preserving history. Yeah, I kind of hope they don't do this, but I don't know. I mean, with no interest from the players, it probably won't happen, but
Yeah, I think they have to get an agreement with the Players Association before they can just go through with it.
okay, that's good. And lastly, for the NFL, the Lions fan involved in an altercation with Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf earlier this season has filed a $100 million lawsuit claiming he was not only physically harmed, but was also accused of making racial remarks. Now, this is a tough one because I don't know if DK actually said that he said racial stuff. I know that that went around online. But in terms of like actually winning the lawsuit and proving that DK said it, I don't know. He might have. Do you know if he
I,
did?
I saw that he had mentioned Chad Johnson and other people a part of the lawsuit, but I don't know who accused him of racial remarks.
I think I vaguely remember that maybe DK did say that in an interview or something. But yeah, I think this is going to be a tough case to win. He
That's a
might
lot of
win.
money too.
Like he might win some of the stuff. I do think he has a good case for like assault or whatever. But 100 million, that just screams I want to make money.
Yeah.
And also, I don't we still don't really know much about like the fan side of it at all. Like what did the fan do fully, to make DK do that?
I've heard that he called him by his full name, but I don't know why that would make
Yeah,
him
I
want
don't
to
know.
throw a
I
punch.
know DK has
A short temper.
short temper. So, that's possible. But yeah, hopefully we learn more about that. We'll have to update you guys on that. All right, now we're going to move on to the NBA. And why we've been recording this podcast, I think 2 or 3 more trades has happened probably. It's tomorrow is the trade deadline. So, it's been an insane day for NBA news. So, let's jump right in with some injuries. Aaron Gordon is out 3 to 5 weeks with a right hamstring strain. He re-aggravated the same hamstring injury from late November.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander also sustained an abdominal strain and will be reevaluated after the All-Star break.
And that's it for the injuries as far as we know. Now we're going to talk about some of the news around the league. Lakers center Jackson Hayes, Pistons center Jalen Duren, and Spurs rookie forward Carter Bryant accepted invites to the 2026 NBA dunk contest. One thing to note about it is that Mac McClung said that he will not be participating in the dunk contest this year, which would forfeit his potential four-peat. Mind you, he's tied with Nate Robertson for the most dunk contest wins in NBA history, so winning four would make him the leader. But also, he's the only person to ever do so in 3 consecutive years. So a four-peat would be insane. Now, I haven't heard if he wasn't invited or if he's choosing not to go, but either way, this is kind of sad news if you're a dunk contest fan.
I think he's just personally choosing not to enter the dunk contest.
He probably wants to get away from that narrative that he's a dunk contest only player.
hmm
So fair to him.
So Dylan Brooks scored a career high 40 points against the Pistons. So we got some career highs coming up in our next little rant. I don't know.
Rant.
I
Not
don't
really a
know.
rant. But yeah, Cooper Flag scored a career high 49 points. He's the youngest player to score 49 in a game, and this was against the Hornets. Mind you, they lost this game. And I think I saw something that game and the game before he combined for like 86 points or something like that, and he lost both games.
hmm I saw that too. I think it was the most by by a teenage player and over the span of 2 games.
Yeah, but I think we have somewhat decent news for Maverick fans later because spoiler alert, they have some picks coming up in the drafts, so they could build their entire team around Cooper Flag.
Jarrett Allen scored a career high 40 points against the Trailblazers. He also had 4 blocks. He's the first player ever to score 40 plus points, 15 plus rebounds, and 5 plus assists in a game in under 30 minutes played.
Yeah, he's really good. I think really underrated. A lot of people don't talk about him compared to other superstars.
Yeah, I remember him playing on the Nets with James Harden and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and he was a good player then. He just really didn't get talked about because the Nets aren't a good team. And now that he's
Yeah.
on the Cavs, he's actually getting some recognition.
And he's not one of the players that got traded, right?
No, he didn't get traded this year, but he
Okay.
did get traded to the, or he signed with the Cavs. I think he got traded
Well,
to
I
the
saw
Cavs.
Cavs are like doing a ton of moves, so I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
I did see
Anyways,
they're a favorite for Giannis now too, or they are talking
yeah,
about possibly.
this happens every year.
Yeah, I remember this happening for the past 2 years.
I think Giannis will leave the Bucks eventually. The question is when will people offer them something that they absolutely have to take before he becomes a free agent, you know?
I believe he's a free agent this year, isn't he?
Is he? Well, maybe he will then. I don't know. In other news, Draymond Green became the third player in Warriors history, joining Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to record 800 threes in a career on the Warriors. This just speaks to his longevity on the team.
Okay,
Um,
he's not a free agent this year. He's a free agent next year.
okay, that's what I thought. So Draymond obviously isn't a three-point shooter, but he's been loyal and stuck out with the team long enough that he's built up that crazy record over a long time. I did hear though, he's officially in the trade talks, and he talked about how it really hit him when he had to explain it to his son.
I heard that he wants to go to the Lakers.
He's a big LeBron fan, but I heard LeBron might come to the Warriors.
I heard LeBron might go to the Cavs. I've also heard that LeBron said he wants to stay
Yeah.
on the Lakers.
The funniest
So,
thing would be if LeBron joins the Warriors in a trade package for Draymond.
yeah. And then
'Cause
Draymond
then
never gets to
Draymond
play with
doesn't get what
LeBron.
he wants.
Jazz guard Isaiah Collier made NBA history by becoming the youngest player to ever drop 20 plus assists in a regular season game.
That's crazy.
You don't really hear many people dropping 20 assists in a game, let alone a younger player.
The closest I can think of is like Jokic, maybe.
Yeah, I think Jokic had like a 50, 20, and 20 game or
But but this
something
guy's a
like that.
guard, so this is like
Yeah,
old school ball. Um, in other news, the NBA has suspended Paul George for 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. The NBA did not reveal the substance or category of drug involved. However, Paul George's own statement said he took an improper medication during mental health treatment and took responsibility. I did see that some people pointed out he got drug tested immediately after scoring a like 30-point game or something, which he hasn't done in a while. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't have any reason not to believe him. So unfortunate situation either way.
didn't we see a similar incident with Odell Beckham, or was that something else?
Yeah, we did actually. You're right. But I think Odell was gone for a longer time.
Yeah, I think he was gone for like 1 or 2 seasons.
Uh, but this is, I think, Paul George's first violation in this regard. So I think that's why it's not more serious than it is. Although I don't know if, if it was performance enhancing, if that would also serve as a bigger penalty. I don't know. But either way, that's a big loss to the Clippers. He's on the Clippers, right?
The 76ers.
I'm stuck in the past. Let's go.
the
They're
Pistons
both
beat the
blue. They're both
yeah,
blue.
the Pistons beat the Nets by a franchise record of 53 points. 130 to 77 was the final score. This is the second time that a team has set their franchise record in scoring this season against the Nets.
Hey, the Nets are doing a service to others.
I was thinking the Lakers were going to do the same thing. They're up by like 30 points last night against the Nets, and then the Nets ended up coming back a little bit, and they only won by 17.
Well, do you think that they get a tax break for doing charity?
I doubt it.
In other news, Terry Rozier won a salary dispute with the NBA. They've been talking about his salary since December, and under the terms of the collective bargaining agreement, players cannot be placed on unpaid leave other than cases of domestic violence and child abuse. Those are the only instances?
That's what it said.
I feel like there could be a couple other things, but okay.
Jason Kidd was fined $35,000 after the Mavericks lost to the Rockets for public criticism of officiating and using profane language during a media interview. On Cooper Flag's game tying layup, Kidd said the refs missed an obvious call and said the officials were not doing their job during the game.
All right, now we're going to talk about some All-Star Weekend news. Everyone's favorite weekend, right?
Boo.
All right. So, the Eastern Conference starters, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey. The reserves are Scotty Barnes, Jalen Duren, Jalen Johnson, Donovan Mitchell, Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, and Karl Anthony Towns. One thing to note is that this is Jalen Duren's, Jalen Johnson, and Norman Powell's first All-Star appearance. So shout out to them.
In the West, the current starters are Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic. It was Shea Gilgeous-Alexander until his injury was released, so they'll find a replacement for him. I only
They were gonna
assume
start.
Kawhi because he
They
was
were gonna
busted.
start three guards.
Yeah.
I mean, Luka can play small forward, but
Um. Well, the West was going to start four guards, or the East was going to start four guards.
yeah, I didn't even pay attention.
But I bet they'll replace Shea with Kawhi Leonard because he was kind of snubbed. But Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama to round out the starters, and then for the bench, we've talked about him all the time this season. Denny Avia,
Hey, I know that
Devin Booker,
guy. Only
Devin
because
Booker,
it says Trailblazers next to him.
Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, LeBron James, and Jamal Murray, with Denny Avia, Chet Holmgren, and Jamal Murray having their first All Star nods. So
I'm a
shout
little
out to
surprised
them.
about Jamal. He's usually a really good regular season player.
Yeah, I think it's just because there's a lot of good guards in the West, and there've always been.
There is a lot of good guards. That's fair. One thing to note is that this is LeBron James's 22nd All-Star game appearance. This extends his record for most All-Star game appearances by an NBA player.
Now we're going to go into the jerseys and the court and kind of give our opinions on it.
Yeah, so the court, it's really hard to talk about this because I don't have much of a reference to compare it to, but I'm just going to look at it at face value. I think it looks good. I wonder how it will translate to TV. It's a bit busy, and I wonder if it will be a little distracting.
Yeah, I like the outside of the court, but like you said, the actual court is very distracting with all the triangles and the stars.
It's really hard to tell though how that would translate to TV though, because it is
Hmm.
all like wood colored, so it might not be that noticeable. I would give it like an 8 out of 10, depending on how it actually looks on TV.
Yeah, I think it's a cool design. Um, Based off of the picture, I'm going to say a 9 out of 10, but I can't really give it an official review until we can actually see it on TV.
And now we're going to talk about the jerseys, which one question I had is how do they play each other since there's three teams?
It's, I think we talked about it before. It's like a round robin tournament almost.
Is it? Oh yeah, we did. I just forgot. Is this new to this year?
Yeah, this is a new change.
I thought there was three teams like last year though. Or at least, or no, did they do World versus USA only one time?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Well,
what it is.
usually that's for the rising stars.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot that's a thing. Well, anyways, there's three jerseys this year. There's the USA All-Stars red jersey, which is what team is that?
The red one is the stars, I believe.
Oh yeah, you can see it on the side. So there's three teams.
The USA Stars, USA Stripes, and the Team World.
Yes. So the USA Stars jersey, I like it. It's good. I'll give it like a 8. It's good. The World jersey, I really like. I'm a big fan of like light blue and white, so I'm gonna give it like a 9. And then the stripes, USA Stripes jersey, I'll give like a 7. It might look better actually on someone, but just going off the picture here, it's very like New Orleans Pelicans, which is okay. It has kind of an old school look to it, but I just think it could have been better.
For the Stars, I'm going to say a 9 out of 10. I'm just a big fan of red. So, I mean, it's kind of a biased opinion.
Fair enough.
But for the World, I'm probably going to have to give that a 10 out of 10. I really like that blue on white mashup they got going on. And then for the USA stripes, I like the stripe on the side, but that's about it. Like you said, it's kind of like a New Orleans Pelicans. So I'm gonna go probably 7 or 8 out of 10. So I'll go 7.5 out of 10.
And so here is the team: USA Stars, Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey.
For the USA Stripes, we got Jalen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, and Norman Powell.
How is Kawhi in it if he's not on the All-Star team?
He's on the Stripes team, but not the actual All Star team. That's
Uh,
something else.
that's weird, but okay.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
And then Team World, we have Giannis, Denny Abdija. Is that how you say his name?
Avida.
Oh, Avita?
Uh, we'll just say Avida, yeah.
Alright. Luka Doncic, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, and Victor Wembanyama. It's kind of not fair to have Jokic and Murray on the same team. Although Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren also are on the same team. But also, this Team World team has a lot of tall guys.
So I'm kind of confused about the East and West format for the All Star game because when I
Yeah, it
look
does
up,
mix the Stars and Stripes teams. So what is the All-Star teams that we announced? Is there like th four separate games? Is there an All-Star game and then the round robin between these?
I don't see any East and West jerseys, so I'm thinking
I guess
that
you can
they're
be a
just doing the round
starter.
robin.
So you can be a starter but not actually on the team for the East, maybe?
I don't know if the
My
East and
guess
West
is
is just a
they
nod to
probably
those.
organized it East and West to make it simple, and then they divide the teams up kind of randomly. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'll just go with that.
But we might have to look into that later.
Yeah, we'll look into it, and if we remember, we'll let you know.
And next, the Rising Stars teams. We have Team Mello, coached by Carmelo Anthony, with Stefan Castle, Donovan Clingan, Jeremiah Fears, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Colin Murray Boyles, and Reed Shepard. It's a pretty good team.
For Team T Mac, obviously the coach is Tracy McGrady, Trey Johnson, Con Canoopel, AJ Mitchell, Alex Sarr, Cam Spencer, Jalen Tyson, and Khalil Ware.
And for Team Vince Carter, that is, we have Mataz Buzelis, Cedric Howard, Igor Demon, VJ Edgecombe, Kaishawn George, Derek Queen, and Jalen Wells.
And then for Team Austin, that
Who
being
is who?
Austin Rivers, I believe. Um,
That makes sense, I guess. Why Austin Rivers, though, out of all people?
we don't know for sure, but we're gonna assume that's Austin Rivers. Um, so Sean East the second, Ron Harper Jr., David Jones Garcia, Yannick Kanan, Dieter Hasser. Why did I get the hard names this episode? Elijah Martin, Tristan Newtman, and Yang Hansen.
I'm pretty sure it's Niederhauser.
Okay.
I took German in high
Yannick
school, so.
Kanan Niederhauser.
All right, and now on to everyone's favorite part of the All-Star game. Something that I wish would have came out when we made our recent non-NBA NBA player draft, the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game. The one team is coached by all three Antetokounmpo brothers, Giannis, Alex, and Thanasis, as well as Mookie Betts. You know him for his baseball and bowling skills. Now he is coaching in the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game. See what he can do. So we have Jenna Bandy, Shams Charania, Taco Fall, Rome Flynn, Keegan Michael Key, Jeremy Lin, Rick Shaw, Dylan Wang, Amon Ross St. Brown, Kafu, and Glorilla. I have to say, I'm a little confused why Taco Fall and Jeremy Lin are allowed to be in this game.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either. I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, Jason Williams is also on the list for the next team. So, yeah, I don't know why they're allowed to be in
I'm just gonna say right now, if Jeremy Lin tries, he's dropping 50.
it.
And if Taco Fall gets the ball, Who's defending him?
I saw somebody say he's gonna get like 50 rebounds.
Like what? My guess is they won't probably play as much. They'll be on the bench. They're just coming for some fun things. But that's a crazy team. Also, I'm really excited to see Keegan Michael Key come out there. If you don't know, he's kind of a comedy guy, and he did the well-known skit, or not a skit. It was during a Penn State game actually. He went out pretending to be the coach.
Oh, the Key and Peele guy,
Yeah, that's him. He was the guy that did the coach. What's his name? I don't know why I'm blanking.
James Franklin.
James. He did the James Franklin look-alike thing during the game. So I wonder if he'll come out trying to look like a bald NBA player. Maybe maybe he could pull off oh, what's his name? That Cavs guy.
The guy that's bald and has the big lips or whatever.
I don't know about that, but he's bald and he does the like game announces. He announces games and stuff now. Why am I blanking on his name?
Richard Jefferson.
Richard Jefferson. I think he could do a Richard Jefferson impression. But yeah, that might actually have a couple fun highlights to watch.
For the other NBA All Star Celebrity Game, the coaches are Anthony Anderson, Lethal Shooter, and Chris Brickley.
Yay! Who are they?
Yay! I've heard of Lethal Shooter. I don't know who he is. And I've heard of Chris Brickley, but I don't know who he is either. Anyways, their players are Badshaw, Cody Jones. I think that's the guy from Dude Perfect. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, he'll probably be
Andre
decent.
Andre DeGrassi. I feel like I've heard that name
Isn't
before.
it DeGraw or something?
It could be. I don't know.
I don't know. I have
I
heard
don't
that
know
name, but I
any of
don't know
these
who he is.
people.
He's a sprinter for Canada.
Matt Ishbia, Simu Liu, Mustard,
Mustard.
Adrian Adrian Dudez, Taylor Frankie Paul, Jason Williams, Keenan Allen, and Nicholas Van Steenberg.
How tall is Keenan Allen?
I believe he's like 6'2".
You think Amon-Ra St. Brown is gonna dunk? Also, wasn't he injured recently?
Yeah, but he was playing in the Pro Bowl yesterday.
Oh, okay. Must not been that bad. Okay, yeah, I don't know a ton of these players or people, but I have high hopes for Mustard.
Mustard for MVP.
He helped produce some Kendrick Lamar songs, so maybe he'll be fire on the court as well as the beats. All right, with that being said, we are now on to probably the biggest news of this entire episode, the NBA trades. Starting with the Atlanta Hawks have traded Vit Krejci to the Portland Trailblazers for Duop Reith and 2 future second-round picks. Krejci ranks in the top 20 for three-point percentage this season.
He's only averaging like 9 points a game though, so it's not a super big pickup. But
It's a fill a role spot
yeah,
pickup.
the Cavs are trading DeAndre Hunter to the Kings for Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. The three-team deal includes the Bulls acquiring Kings forward Dario Saric and 2 future second-round picks.
It seems like Cleveland's kind of going for a ring. They've been consistently in the playoffs the last couple of years, so they're picking up some role players like Dennis Schroeder and stuff. Maybe even looking to flip the trades. Um, yeah, this could be big for them. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading star forward Jaren Jackson Jr., John Concar, and Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. The Grizzlies are now tied with the Nets and Thunder with 13 future first-round picks. I was kind of surprised that they got rid of Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good defensive player for the Jazz. And the Jazz is a really young team.
I don't know how long or how well he's been doing this year, but he was a defensive rookie of the or no, defensive player of the year, right?
I believe he was a candidate. I think
No, I think he won.
Wemby won. Oh, did he win?
Well, like this would have been like 3 or 4 years ago.
2022, 2023.
Yeah.
I forgot about
So
that.
I was kind of surprised to see that, but I don't know how he's doing. Uh, Also, we're gonna talk about the Jazz a lot during this trade section. What are your thoughts on the Jazz? Do you think they're going for a full rebuild, trying to go for a playoff push? Like, based on the players you've seen them getting, like, what do you think they're going for?
I think they're trying to get draft picks.
But they gave away draft picks in this trade.
Um, yeah. Uh, well, I don't know because Walter Clayton Jr. is a good player. He's a young player. I believe he's a rookie. Anyways, he's a decent player. Kyle Anderson, he's an older guy. George Niang, he's an older guy. Um, maybe they're rebuilding for next season, getting Jaren Jackson Jr. now. So when the draft comes next year,
See, that's what I was thinking, but this next trade has me kind of doubting that a little because the Cavs traded Lonzo Ball and two second-round picks to the Jazz for cash, and the Jazz are expected to waive Lonzo Ball to allow him to become a free agent. The Jazz wanted the trade to go through for the draft capital, and the Cavs are also sending Jock Landale to the Hawks for cash. So this makes me wonder, like, why not keep Lonzo? I feel like Lonzo's a pretty good player, and if they want draft capital, it almost makes me wonder what they're trying to do. Like, are they going to try to pick up a superstar like Giannis?
they could be trying to go for Giannis.
I just now realized that the Lonzo Ball trade, I was thinking of LaMelo Ball. It makes way more sense why they're waiving Lonzo Ball. It also makes a lot more sense why he was on the Cavs. I was thinking LaMelo got traded to the Cavs.
No, then he's been on the Cavs, so he wasn't recently traded to the Cavs.
Yeah, that makes way more sense to me now. So,
Makes sense why the Cavs wanted cash for him because they wanted him off the roster. Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit have agreed to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls and Kevin Herter and Dario Saric to the Pistons. Detroit also receives a 2026 first-round pick, which is a projected or protected swap from Minnesota.
now after this trade, the Bulls had 8 guards on their roster. But, as you're about to find out later, they ended up flipping some of these guards. I was kind of wondering why they were getting so many guards, you know?
The Bulls traded center Nikola Vucevic and a second-round pick to the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simons and a second-round pick. So there's another guard coming to the Bulls.
Clippers are trading James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland and a second round pick. I was talking to my brother about this, and this seems like a pretty good pickup for the Cavs short term. If they really do want to make a deep playoff run, it seems like they're kind of going all out this year in terms of their trades. I do think James Harden overall is a better chance at winning a deep playoff run than Darius Garland. But you have to wonder if Darius Garland would be better for them long term. It could be a big pickup for the Clippers, though. I would say both teams kind of won in different ways.
Yeah, the Clippers are on the up and up, trying to make the playoffs now. So Darius Garland could help them continue that trend, and I'm sure James Harden will help the Cavs, but not as long term as Darius Garland could.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go on to probably the biggest trade of the week
So
regarding the
so
amount of
far.
players and picks. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Anthony Davis and Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to the Washington Wizards for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, and two first-round picks and three second-round picks.
So clearly the Mavericks are trying to build around Cooper Cup now.
I mean, Chris Middleton was good. Malachi Branham is up and up. Marvin Bagley Jr. or the third used to be good.
Right, but those picks are going to be pretty useful,
Yeah,
I
those
think.
picks are going to help.
Um, I just want to say though, the Wizards now have Anthony Davis and Trey Young. Are the Wizards trying to make a playoff push next year? Like that's insane to me.
If Anthony Davis stays healthy.
Who would have thought the Wizards would turn things around this fast? But you have to wonder, is this just like a 1 year, like one chance at the finals and then they're screwed kind of thing? I don't know.
I don't even think they're making the finals, honestly.
And the next trade, probably the second biggest trade, I'd think. The Philadelphia 76ers are trading Jared McCain to the Oklahoma City Thunder for a 2026 Rockets first round pick and 3 second round picks. I know that Jared McCain's kind of had an off year, but his rookie year was insane. You can't give up a player like this, I feel like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of weird though. He does TikTok dances and paints his fingernails. And
Okay, but that aside, he balls. Like he's a baller.
he's good at
And
ball.
Oklahoma City has all these picks to throw around. They already have a super team, and now they have Jared McCain. I think Oklahoma City might be the favorites to win the championship for the next like 5 years, maybe more.
And since they got all those draft picks, they could either use them to draft players or trade for good players like Giannis.
I just hate that I predicted this so many years ago when I said that they were going to win a championship within the next 5 years with all the picks. I wish I was an Oklahoma fan.
You can't be a bandwagon now. Don't do it.
Well, here's the thing though.
Can't beat
I'm
them,
not a,
join
I'm
them. You'll
not
be just like Kevin Durant.
I'm not a big Shea fan, so that's kind of stopping me from even remotely being a bandwagon for them.
The Thunder are trading Mason Plumlee for Ousmane Dieng and a second rounder for the Hornets.
I think this just further cements how good their defense is, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll probably get very little minutes, but bench players matter too. Unless Deng isn't a good defender. I assume he is. Do you know?
I've never heard of this guy before.
You've never heard of Deng? He's been in the league for a long time, hasn't he?
He has 3 points per game, 1 rebound per game, and 1 assist per game.
Oh, he's 22. Who was I
He's
thinking?
three. George Niang,
George Niang? Is that who I was thinking of? Is he a center? No, that's not who I was thinking of either. I swear there's a guy, last name Dang.
Georgie Niang,
Maybe. He was a,
George
whoever I'm
Niang.
thinking of was a center and he was like African. Yeah, I bet it was that guy.
Yeah.
Well, I take back my former statement. I don't understand this trade, but good job. I don't know who that guy is. You're right. The Chicago Bulls are trading Kobe White and Mike Conley Jr. to the Charlotte Hornets for Colin Sexton, Usman Dieng, and 3 second round picks. So they got rid of some of their guards. But isn't Colin Sexton also a guard?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're trying to do, but I guess we're gonna
What's
find out.
crazy is they just got Mike Conley, and the Hornets just got Usman Dieng.
I know.
They're both already been
Clearly they
traded.
wanted to flip him. I don't think
Yeah.
Mike Conley is gonna help their team a ton.
Probably
Um,
better than Usman Dieng. I mean, they got a good trade out of that.
Lastly, Clippers, Nets, and Raptors have agreed to a multi-team trade sending Chris Paul to the Raptors. Okai Abaji, as well as a 2032 Raptors second round pick and cash are going to the Nets. I think this gives Chris Paul a decent chance at winning the championship, but I don't think obviously that's what the Clippers were doing when they traded him. So obviously not maybe the best place he could go if he wants to win a championship, but we'll see if that has any impact on the Raptors. All right, now we're gonna do a new segment that we're gonna do for a couple weeks, which is the Olympics. The Winter Olympics start Friday, which is when this episode will come out. Although technically they've already started, but it's like preliminary placement games and stuff like that for some sports. But the opening ceremony is Friday, which I still need to look up the schedule because I want to try to watch as many games as I can, especially the figure skating. So let's kind of give a little context behind this Olympics. So Italy is hosting for the third time, uh, and it's the first time since 2006 that the Olympics are going back to Italy. I don't know if that's just Winter Olympics or Olympics in general, but either way, that's pretty cool. And it's the first Winter Olympics to be ever split between two host cities. that being Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo.
This is the most spread out winter games in history, with events across multiple mountain clusters and ceremonies split between San Siro, which is the opening ceremony, and Verona Arena, which is the closing ceremony.
Yeah, I don't know how far apart all of this is, but still kind of interesting, I guess. They do have a lot of mountain ranges around that area, so I guess it kind of makes sense. This is also the largest athlete field ever for Italy, with 2,900 athletes and from over 90 plus countries. They're competing in 116 events across 16 disciplines.
So we got some new sports and additions to this year's Olympics. So first up, we got ski mountaineering, also known as skimo,
Kind of like that. Skimo has a good ring to it.
like Eskimo, but skimo. This is the only brand new sport added to the Winter Olympics in over 20 years. This focuses on uphill climbs, transitions, and downhill skiing. The events include men's individual, women's individual, and mixed relay.
So I think this is the thing I sent you about that. I think it was like a cross country runner or something that joined the U.S. team last second and is potentially gonna do really good because she like won the event, her first event, didn't she?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that was this event. So the U.S. team's mixed or women's is definitely one to watch because of that story. I don't know a lot about it, so I can't really comment more. But I will say, although I don't know a ton about this event, it does sound fun on paper. Like it sounds like it's a mix between kind of cross country and skiing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do like that they added a little bit of everything in there.
It sounds like it would be very tiring though.
Yeah, almost like a reverse triathlon or a winter
Yeah,
triathlon.
winter triathlon, yeah. Which I'm sure there is a winter triathlon, not in the Olympics maybe, but yeah. Anyways, um, there's also 6 new medal events across existing sports. So NBC has confirmed 6 new events debuting this year. Some of them are simply changing in format, while others are completely new additions. So some new events to the Olympics this year is the men's and women's dual moguls. It's a head-to-head freestyle skiing event which emphasizes speed and technical turns.
Another new event is the mixed team skeleton, which is a new sledding event pairing one male and one female athlete combining runs.
You'll notice that this year they've been adding a lot of mixed and like female sports. So there's a large emphasis on that now. Next is mixed team short track relay, which is a co-ed relay event adding, I don't know. I don't really know what short track relay is, but they have a mixed one now.
There's also new gender category, women's Nordic combined, the long-awaited women's debut of the only remaining male-only discipline.
I'm sure you've been waiting for that a long time.
What is it?
Nordic combined.
What is that?
That is a great question, Nick. I'm so glad you asked. Let me look it up.
I figured you do.
It's cross country skiing and ski jumping. Wait, okay, that actually sounds awesome. What the heck? I kind of see why that maybe was not allowed for women for a long time, but this amount of time, it's a bit crazy. That does sound fun. I don't know. Does that sound fun to you?
I mean, I'm not a cross country guy, but
I mean, surely you've seen ski jump though.
yeah,
So doing that after doing cross country, that's kind of crazy.
that's probably kind of relieving, actually.
I don't know. Being that high up in the air, one thing goes wrong.
Oh yeah, and you're exhausted from the cross country part.
Yeah, it's relieving. I'm gonna fly in the air after I'm
I'm
really
gonna fly
tired.
and die. I'm gonna die like the Patriots.
But that's cool. Good to see that the women are finally added to that. And then there's one expansion to an existing event. The women's large hill ski jumping is going to be expanded to match the men's program more closely. I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess that's cool.
We have a fun fact for you. There is no official way of determining who wins the Olympics. Most news outlets use total gold count, some use total medals, and some use a point system by medal type.
So, for example, the gold medal could be worth 3 points, silver is two, bronze is one. Uh, I don't really know how I would rank it. I think the point system probably makes the most sense, but I know either way, teams that don't have a lot of players are going to be at a disadvantage because, for example, a team that only or a country that only has like 10 athletes, even if they win like 8 golds, they still might not win the overall competition. Even though if we're looking at like numbers, they won like 80% of their athletes won gold or something, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think there is a correct way to do this, but I thought that was kind of interesting to point out because you always see things on news outlets saying about how good the US is doing, but the reality is maybe they're not actually as good as we think. It just depends how you rate them. So, I looked up some 2022 Winter Olympic stats based on a couple different ways to measure it. And this kind of goes to show like how different the scoring systems can be. So in 2022, if we're going off the gold count, Norway won in first with 16 golds. Germany was second with 12. The US was third in 9, tied with China in 9. And then Sweden and Netherlands were fifth and sixth, tied with eighth. Austria was seventh. Switzerland was seven as well. And then ROC, which is like the Russian, oh, I forget what it stands for. It's the Russian Olympic Committee. So it's like Russian athletes that can compete despite Russia being banned. And then France was in 10th with 5, also tied with ROC. So if we look at that, Norway got first, US got third. Now, if we go based off total medal count, things get a little different. Norway still is in first with a total of 37 medals. However, ROC jumps from ninth place all the way up to second place with 32 total medals. Germany is at third then Canada, then the US. So the US would have dropped to fifth place, and then Sweden, Austria, Japan, Netherlands, Italy. So that just goes to show, depending how you look at it, Norway's always going to win, but the others might be affected. So here's some all-time Winter Olympic medal leaders. Uh, Norway is in first with 406 total medals, 148 golds. Then the United States is in second with 330 total medals. Germany is in third with 267 total. Austria is in fourth with 251 total. And Canada is in fifth with 225 total medals. So, Nick, do you think Norway's going to win again?
Probably.
Probably, but you know what? It's the individual sports that we care about that matter, right? As long as the US wins those, we're winners.
Yeah, USA, USA, USA.
I did hear this is a big year for hockey, possibly with, Russia being banned. It's going to be basically US versus Canada, the most likely favorites. All right, now we're going to talk about some news around the Olympics leading up to it.
So, 41-year-old Lindsey Vonn announced she will be competing in the 2026 Winter Olympics despite suffering a ruptured ACL after a crash that occurred a week before the Milan Cortina opening ceremony.
She also has the second most World Cup wins in women's skiing history with 84 World Cup victories. The record is 108. Now, I looked it up because I wasn't really sure what a World Cup victory was. Basically, every time you win a race throughout the season, it's considered a World Cup victory. So basically, she has 84 race wins, and there's different types of races too. Um, but still, that's really impressive that she's in second. I don't know what to think of this. I don't know the logistics behind ACLs and skiing. I would imagine it's probably pretty important, even if you tape it up or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I get that this is probably her last Olympics or something, but I don't. I just wonder if doing a replacement would have been better for the US as a whole. But if she wins a medal, even if it's not gold, I think that would be an insane story. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I saw in an interview she seems pretty confident that she'll be okay despite the ACL tear, but, of course she's gonna say that. Who knows, you know? Okay, and our last thing for the Olympics, I wanted to point out a story that's been circulating. The U.S. women's figure skating trio has been nicknamed the Blade Angels. Now, from what I've seen, I think this is a nickname that's been around for multiple teams, and I even saw that it might have been a name for a South Korean team. But either way, I just thought I would point out maybe a bit who they are and why it's such a big deal. So, the first member is Amber Glenn. She is 26 years old, and her latest medal result, or I guess major medal result, was the 2026 U.S. National Championship, where she won. This was also her third straight national title. So she's a pretty big deal because she's known for her triple axel and record-setting short program at nationals. She's also considered the kind of emotional leader of the trio, so she's probably the most balanced in overall style, and she's kind of the veteran, if you will.
Next, we have Alisa Liu.
Alyssa.
Alyssa Liu. She is 20 years old, so her latest major medal result is a reigning world champion heading into the 2026 season. And she got a silver at the 2026 U.S. Championships behind Glenn. She matters because she's the most decorated of the trio internationally and is known for her technical firepower and consistency.
And then lastly, we have Isabel Levito. She is only 18 years old. However, she got bronze at the 2026 U.S. Championships, securing her Olympic spot alongside Glenn and Leo. I did look it up. You don't have to get top three to qualify. They look at like overall year and maybe past couple years, like how good you are. So even though the top three U.S. championship people did qualify, that doesn't necessarily mean that it had to happen. Anyways, the reason she kind of is important to this group is she's the artistic standout of the group. She has a background in classical ballet, so she's known for being very elegant, precise, and a judge's favorite as a result. She scores very high in the PCS or presentation scores. So I want to talk about the scoring system a little bit. So we have the TES, the technical. So you get scored based on jump, spin, step, sequences. So basically you take a base value plus a GOE, which is grade of execution. Now, the grade of execution is on a scale of -5 to +5. So basically, you take the whatever it was, a jump or a spin, and then you add how well they executed it. And then at the end, you get an overall technical score. Then you add that to the PCS, which is the artistry score. So this is based on skills, transitions, performance, composition, uh, stuff like that. And then from what I looked up, TES usually outweighs PCS, especially in free skate, but that's not always the case. Personally, I kind of prefer, I think, the presentation side of it a little bit more than the technical because it really is almost like a dance routine to some extent. So I enjoy like the music, I enjoy the story that they're trying to tell. But I will admit, if there's some crazy technical move or something that not a lot of people can pull off mixed in with that, um, presentation, I think that's really cool. So, anyways, the final score basically is the technical plus the artistry, and then you deduce points based on falls, time, costumes, etc. One thing I was kind of curious about is how you can lose points in costumes. So one way is the costumes have to be like a legal format. So you can lose points if it's illegal for some reason. Also, if it's distracting or if the costume is like falling apart, so it's like dangerous for the skater, they can also deduct points. Although from what I saw, it's pretty rare that people lose points for costumes. So the skaters perform two segments, the short program and then the free skate. I think the short program is just like a short little display of your skills, and then the free skate is a lot longer with a lot more emphasis on like telling a story, that sort of thing. So the scores are added together, and then the combined total determines the medal standings. There's no separate medal for short and free skate, so you have to be good at both. So going back to why this trio of the U.S. figure skaters is a big deal, They represent the strongest U.S. women's figure skating lineup in over a decade. They've also brought the U.S. back into global conversation after years of Russian and Japanese dominance. Um, their styles also complement each other. So one's artistic, one's technical, and one's balanced. It's really great to see like how each one is kind of unique in their own way, yet each one is pretty likely to do well. So it'll be really cool to see the competition not only between other countries, but between the US itself. So and some other reasons why this is such big news is the US hasn't won a women's single gold since 2002. Sarah Hughes was the last to do it. Also, Russia is still absent from the competition because of they got banned because of invading Ukraine and all that. So, as a result, the podium is wide open, way more than it ever has, because traditionally Russia has been our biggest competition, along with Japan as of recently. Um, these skaters also have kind of consistently been climbing the world rankings. Um, so I looked up the world rankings, the ISU's world standings in women's single for this year. In first place, we have Kaori Sakamoto of Japan with 5,074 points. Second is Mono Chiba of Japan with 4,571 points. And then followed in third, fourth, and fifth is Amber, Isabel, and Alyssa. So the US are third, fourth, and fifth in terms of like overall ranking. Um, so that's kind of a big deal. Uh, One thing I'd also like to point out is that the ISU men's standings have the US's Ilion Milanen, I don't know how to say his name, in first. So he's actually one of the favorites to win gold for the men. So it looks like the men and women's US figure skating teams could both win gold if, certain things happen. So one thing I want to talk about Ilya is he's only 21 years old. He's also known as the quad god because he often uses quad spins in his routines. He is also the only person in history to land a quad axel in competition. A quad axel is 4.5 rotations, making it the hardest jump in the sport. I don't know if he's planning on doing this during the Olympics, but that would be insane to see. He's also been dominating world championships and Grand Prix events, although this is his first Olympics, so he's making his Olympic debut. Now, something I thought was kind of interesting, I mentioned Nathan Chen in my underrated sports episode. He was the reigning gold medalist for the US in 2022. However, even though he's only 26 years old, he is not skating because he decided to pursue a career in medicine. I don't know about you, Nick, but it's kind of crazy to me. Like, you're a reigning gold medalist and you're just going to give that up. But I do get if he actually genuinely does aspire to be a medicine or a doctor or whatever, like, go for it. What more does he have to prove? He won gold.
Yeah, he's probably made a lot of money off of his gold medals.
I think it is sad for me personally though, because he was my favorite male to watch. But this new guy, I don't know much about him, so maybe he'll become my new favorite. Is there any sports that you're looking forward to watching? I know we both like curling. I'm obviously gonna watch figure skating pretty closely.
I'm probably gonna watch every sport. Probably not super close, but at least watch it and keep up.
Wow, I thought you had to work every day almost.
Yeah, but I'll watch when I get home before I hit the hay.
Fair enough. I'm really hoping that the figure skating stuff is not like multiple days. It probably is, and I'm really hoping it's not when I have class. I'm really excited to see what the women can do, and I guess the men too. All right, well, with that being said, let's move on to our last segment, the miscellaneous segment.
So St. Louis men's basketball team improved to 22-1, which is the best start in program history. They're currently ranked 19 as of today, Wednesday.
Good to see them doing well. And the former Charlotte Hornets player and UCLA standout Amari Bailey is making plans to return to college. He is the first player who has played in regular season NBA games to push for college eligibility. He hired a lawyer and is looking to return next year. In a similar note to this, I saw that guy that was a G League player, people were voting for him to go to the G League All-Star game so that he wouldn't play in March Madness to beat their teams.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's kind of funny.
UCLA and Ohio State men's volleyball team combined for an NCAA record 94 points in a single set. UCLA won that set 48-46.
Man, that must have been exhausting.
I saw that it's all around NCAA record, men's and women's.
Wow. And you have to wonder how many of those sets went on for like multiple hits, you know?
Yeah.
Makes it last even longer. Benji Taylor, the men's basketball coach at Division II Tuskegee University, was escorted off the court in handcuffs after a post-game incident Saturday. Taylor went up to an officer and requested the opposing team's football players be taken out of the handshake line because they were yelling obscenities. And Tuskegee's athletic director stated the football team created a security breach. Taylor was escorted off the court and into the hallway in handcuffs. Well, it wouldn't be a podcast without a crime, right?
Yeah, we had to keep the crime rolling.
But my question is, what did he do exactly that made him get arrested?
I don't know if he was getting kind of aggressive with the officer or didn't really state anything,
I mean, I feel
but
like that's what would have to happen because if it really did just go up and ask them, I wouldn't think it would be a big deal.
yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know, weird situation for sure. And something I saw earlier today, Bryce James, son of LeBron James, you might know him, has decided to redshirt his freshman year at Arizona. He has not made an appearance for the Wildcats yet. Honestly, this is a pretty smart decision. If you're not going to play, might as well.
You might as well preserve that eligibility while you can. So we had some WWE news. I know we don't really cover WWE, but I felt like this was worth covering because AJ Styles is a legend of TNA and of WWE. So AJ Styles had a match over the weekend at the Royal Rumble against Gunther that was a win or retire match. AJ Styles, of course, lost to Gunther, making it his final match in WWE. So, I mean, I saw a
Winner
lot of.
retire match.
That's basically what it was.
Basically, hey, I want to retire. Want to make a cool match out of it?
Well, he was wanting to do, according to what he stated, it could have been the character stating that, not him. He said he wanted to do a full year retirement. And obviously that didn't happen. But I've heard
Maybe
and
they
seen
offered him money.
stuff. Well, apparently his contract ended the other day, right after the Royal Rumble. So that's
Uh,
probably part of the reason why he just decided to end his career in WWE. But I have heard that he's planning on going, or that people are saying he's going to go to TNA and retire there too, which is where he's originally from.
kind of random, but okay. Good for him though. I don't know a ton about him. I've seen, you know, pictures of him and stuff. He's got cool hair, I guess. You like his hair?
Very long and wavy. Or not wavy, but I mean, it flows.
Long, but yeah. Okay. And lastly, something that I came across earlier, which I thought was pretty cool actually. In fact, Nick, me and you might have to get tickets. Hint, hint. Uh,
Might have to
Columbus
get
will.
tickets. Those are probably like
Well,
$5,000 a ticket because it's
okay, but we know
the
in
Olympics.
advance. We know in advance so we can get them cheap, maybe. Anyways, Columbus, Ohio has been officially selected as a host city for the 2028 Los Angeles Summer Olympic Soccer Tournament. This will include matches in the group stage games for both men and women, and it will be held at Lower.com Field, which is home of the Columbus Crew. This marks the first time that Ohio will host an official Olympic competition. That's really cool, and I really want to go.
It's really far away from Los Angeles too.
Well, that is a good point, but I'm not complaining, man. Come on now. But yeah, we should definitely go. Worst case scenario, I'm sure the women's tickets, especially for like um teams that are less likely to win it all, are probably pretty cheap or cheaper.
Yeah, it'd be cool to say you were at the Olympics.
I mean, I get why Ohio hasn't hosted any Olympic events, but it's weird with how much history we have with like Jesse Owens and stuff, you know?
Yeah, maybe he'll make a return this Olympics.
Jesse Owens?
Yeah, maybe next Olympics he'll make his return.
Um, isn't
You
he
never
dead?
know. Just like Hulk Hogan might make his return to the
Okay,
WWE.
he died in 1980.
I figured he died.
He died a lot earlier than I thought. Yeah, but that will do it for this episode. We're gonna try to make the podcast a little bit shorter in the future if possible because I'm starting school again and Nick is getting married. Yep, that's my excuse. Anyways,
And
it's
I might
mostly
be
for
getting a shotgun, so but that's not relevant.
what? Well, good for you. He just wanted to share that. Anyways, yeah, so that will do it for this episode. I look forward to talking about the Super Bowl, Go Hawks, and the Olympics.
If you made it this far, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Peace out, Girl Scout.